Welcome, everyone. Welcome to my Facebook chat for August 24th. Whew, the summer is flying by. Last week, we did a chat on sesame milk and the companies using, based on circular economy, what they call a sesame cake, the pulp that's left over from making the sesame oil. And a friend of mine said, well, the sesame oil is it's been taken out of the seed. Like what's left nutritionally. So I did a little bit of investigation. I go, oh, okay. There's many in sesame oil. There's sort of you've got your fat soluble vitamins and you've got water soluble. When you take the oil out of the seed, you have removed all the fat soluble vitamins. And so what's left? Well, different things are left. So that's what we're going to explore today. So it's a continuation from last week, from the circular economy to homemade nourishment, sesame milk, which is what I made. And I've been enjoying it this week. So last week, we explored the idea of the circular economy and how companies are finding creative ways to reduce waste, reuse resources, and design food systems that work in harmony with the planet. One example was sesame milk, which some companies now produce by upcycling the leftover pulp from sesame oil production. It's a brilliant way to take what might have been discarded and turned into a useful, nutritious product. But today, I want to just look at another layer of the story because there's always more to these stories. Oh, wow. I thought, wow, that's fantastic. And so then I was looking for those milks, and some of the stores that used to carry it don't carry it anymore. And somehow these things, it's the or better turns up. So I'm going, oh, okay, I can't buy it in the store. And I'm going, ding, I have a fantastic Vitamix blender. And I now have a new used one. And why don't I make it myself? I'm going, okay. So, I checked online going, oh, okay. I have the Unhulled white sesame seed, which is kind of brownish looking, and I have black. So I decided to put them together and make my own sesame milk. And so that is us being part of the circular economy, just making our own. You buy the product, the sesame seeds, preferably organic, and then we create our own sesame milk at home. And why sesame? What is it about sesame seeds? Well, they're tiny, nutritious powerhouses. They're about 50% healthy fat, 20% protein, and rich in minerals like calcium, magnesium, and iron. Black sesame seeds add anthocyanins, antioxidant pigments that support resilience and cellular health. When you use whole unheld sesame seeds for milk, you're drawing from the seed's full nutritional gift of heart healthy oil, protein, minerals, and plant compounds that support bones, immunity, and vitality. I mean, who doesn't want that, right? And by contrast, the commercial sesame milks made from upcycled pulp are lower in fat because it's been removed for the sesame oil. And it's lower in antioxidants because those nutrients are extracted with the oil. And then they add sunflower oil back to improve the texture, it makes it smoother. But that means you're no longer drinking the full sesame profile. They do provide protein and minerals, and they support waste reduction on an industrial scale, but nutritionally homemade. When you blend unhulled or black sesame seeds with water, and I soaked mine and then I made my milk at home, you strain it lightly and enjoy. So you get the healthy fat, you get that the oil that's in the sesame seed, including an oil called sesame and sesame, which are powerful antioxidants that help balance cholesterol and protect your cells. The protein, depending on your seed to water ratio, you'll capture 4 to 7 grams per cup, a steady plant protein source. Minerals, homemade milk is naturally high in calcium, magnesium, zinc, and iron, especially if you use unhulled seeds. Now, the black sesame in particular has an edge in calcium. I didn't know that. Antioxidants, unlike pulp based milk, you're preserving the vitamin E, the lignans, and anthocyanins, especially in the black sesame seed. From a health perspective, homemade sesame milk is not just a drink, it's a way to bring the whole essence of the seed into your body. It's that divine design. We are divinely designed. Our gut knows how to process these different things. And if you've never had it before, try small amounts first, right? So that your gut microbiome can get used to this new food at that. And then the divine design of the seed is to provide those oils, the healthy fat and the vitamins and the minerals to your body. And then so you've got the white unhulled or the black. What's the difference? So most sesame oil on the store shelves is made from white hulled seeds because their lighter flavor produces a smooth golden oil. The unhulled white seed and the black sesame seeds are far richer in minerals, especially calcium and iron, but their hulls give a darker, more bitter oil, so they're less commonly pressed uh, for the commercial. But for the homemade sesame milk, choosing the unhulled, and I put both unhulled and the black, gives you the fullest nutrition, calcium, fiber, and antioxidants, while the hulled white seeds provide a milder, less mineral rich option. So, if you wanted to start first with just the hulled, because you can get the white looking sesame seed, so they've got that the hull removed, and start with that and see how that works with your body. Maybe that's a good way to get started with the sesame milk. Now, the nutritional advantage, well, when you blend the unhulled and black with water, strain lightly and enjoy. So you get those healthy fats, and uh, you get the protein, you get the minerals, and those fat soluble vitamins. So you get it all. And so it's just bringing that whole essence of the seed into your body. So what are you doing? It's zero waste in your own kitchen. As I say, how can it get any better than that? In the circular economy, it's about designing out waste, which is good. And you can do the same at home. After straining your homemade sesame milk, you'll have some pulp left behind, and it depends how much you squeeze out, right? So if you leave it a little bit moisture in your bag, that's how I did it. Don't throw it away. That pulp is rich in fiber, minerals, and a little bit of protein. And there's a couple of simple ways to use it. So you've got the sweet option, which is the proper food combining friendly. So you blend the pulp with dates and a pinch of cinnamon, roll into a sesame date bite or a smoothie boost, and stir a spoonful into a veggie-based smoothie for added fiber and minerals. Add to your baking. Mix the pulp into breads, muffins, or flatbread for added fiber and kind of a nutty flavor. Add crackers, blend the pulp with seeds and spices, spread thin, and bake until crisp. That sounds worth trying. And you know what? If you just can't use it in the food, compost it and return it to the soil. It's a beautiful way to complete the cycle. So, the bigger picture, which is better? Well, it depends on your blends and what you're looking for. Upcycled sesame milk tackles industrial food waste and creates a lower fat, protein rich beverage. Homemade sesame milk nourishing more fully with a healthy fat, antioxidant, and mineral while cutting out the packaging additives and the hidden oil. Both contribute to the circular economy in their own way. But when we make sesame milk at home, we're embodying the principle at a personal scale. No or very little waste, no packaging, and the satisfaction of knowing exactly what's in your glass. So, just a closing thought, the circular economy starts with big ideas, but it comes alive when we practice it daily, whether by choosing upcycled product on store shelves or crafting nourishing milk at home. Every choice ripples outward. With Sesame, we can honor both, supporting innovative solution and celebrating an ancient seed in our own kitchen. So I welcome you to just give it a try. If you've got a blender, um, why not? We make almond milk. You take almonds, soak them. It's a seed, and if you soak it for 8 hours, you can keep the skin on, and that becomes pulp. And I've made a dip with adding a bit of extra olive oil or and spices like dill and lemon juice, and that creates like a dip for your celery or your zucchini or cucumber. And you can try different seeds and see. And what have you tried? Those of you at home would love to make your own food. What have you created? What seeds have you used? What nuts have you used? And sesame seed is the tahini that you can buy all processed, and it's lighter than nut, and it's the one that you can kind of put on toast. So anyway, I just hope you have fun in your kitchen because that's what I'm hoping that you will do. It's conscious eating, conscious living, and how can you just bring that more and more into your kitchen? Are you trying to reduce packaging, which is one of my goals this year? Is can I reduce the packaging of what I'm buying? So yeah, I can not buy this or I can make that. And I just invite you to think about it, right? As we become more conscious and how to be, honoring the earth, and reducing what goes into the landfill that lasts for thousands of years. If you happen to be in a city where they incinerate it all, that's an option. But where I live in the Delta in Vancouver, British Columbia, we don't have that option. And so that kind of stuff, some of it says it's recyclable, the containers, and others, it just ends up in the landfill. So it's your choice. So thank you for listening, and I hope to see you next week on whatever that mystery topic is. And you know what? If you've got ideas on what you want me to share, contact me. rosiesjoy11@gmail.com. Check out my app, Authentic Sacred Design, where I look at all sorts of things to do with the body, the mind, the spirit, and the earth. And Friday food gems come out every Friday. They're not all Ayurvedic. They're not all vegan or vegetarian. Um, and I'm working more on sort of proper food combining because, as we did in that post about jam and toast not being the best food combining. So, yeah, come and play, learn lots, and thank you for joining me. And until next time, doodaloo.